And welcome back. We are due to have our next game, Farnborough 6 Bills versus Bexhill. If you weren't here before the break, we did just have an absolute spicy banger of a game. Bexhill have opted for the blue side. There seems to be a lot of cheering for Farnborough Bills in the chat, though. I'm quite interested because obviously we've just had a little bit of a discussion during the break about the difference between the teams. Rory, I'm going to head to you first in terms of what you're expecting to see out of the next game in terms of picks, bans, who is going to be, who we think is going to be the victor from this one.
So Bexhill immediately, just taking a quick glance at their profiles, they have the immediate advantage just looking at rank and champion availability, what champs are in their champ pools, things like that. I think that it's best here for them to not target ban. I think it's best to ban out champions that can team fight easily, because when you have the advantage just in player skill, what you want to do is minimize easy threats. So if you're playing a full AD team, get rid of the Malphite. That's getting rid of an easy threat. If you're scared of a team fight comp, get rid of the Varus, the Ornn, and various team fighters like this.
And what about you, Fluffy Bunny?
Well, actually, I've been looking at the Bills, and if you look at the kind of champions they play, sure, there might be a rank deficit on this side, but they have really nice scaling safe options in their comfort pick. So we see things like Orianna, Syndra in the mid lane. We could even see a Jax in the top lane as well, which traditionally isn't kind of super safe, but you've got a lot of options for where you could put these champions and kind of play slow. Don't let the individual skill fall down a little bit too much, and then when it comes into the mid game, then use that more superior team comp to macro around your opponents instead. So I don't think that they're ruled out if you look at the champions that they play.
I mean, looking at the list of champions that they play, obviously there are some unspecified. I'm curious that the fact that we've got the jungler down as playing Tahm Kench.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I know that.
W Max Jungle Tom.
I know we are a serious tournament, but I want to see what the Kench can do in the jungle.
I won't put you on the spot here, Ellie, but I'm sure Rory knows the nickname for Tahm Kench.
The frog, the catfish,
the River King.
Okay, I thought you were asking for like a community nickname.
No,
not like
no.
The title.
He is Tahm Kench, the River King.
He is.
Maybe we will see a Tahm Kench jungle.
I would love to see a Tahm Kench jungle. I think that might actually. I would become a lifelong fan of Farnborough 6 Bills if they played Tahm Kench in the jungle. But
it's the second coming of Ricochet.
Yeah.
It is. But one thing that also interested me was the fact that Jax was listed amongst the bot lane players.
Yeah, I've seen that too. And I'm not sure whether they're gonna see MLK going into that bot lane role as the AD carry then, because they are playing with a sub, I believe, in this game as well, right?
No, they are playing without a sub. I can see their sub in the chat at the moment. He's telling us that Bills are just built differently, and I'm quite looking forward to that. Anybody
Honestly,
who's got an off-roll champion.
Jack's AD carry is constructed alternatively every day of the week, so I completely agree with that.
Yeah, we can see Jack's AD carry. We've got Tahm Kench in the jungle. There's a lot that we could see coming into this. You could see meta shifting completely from here. But...
Well, to throw your mind back to last season, they called Mad Lions crazy for doing Wukong Senna, and they managed to win those games. So I won't write off meta picks until I've seen them.
I mean, if we want to bring back some off meta picks in the bot lane, Garen Yumi that GT brought in a couple of years ago, why not Jax Yumi? You know what I mean? We can see it as an option.
I mean, as long as I'm not seeing any more Lucian Nami, I'm absolutely fine. I think that, for me, has become the new Aaron Yumi, and
What's wrong with Lucian Nami?
Lucian Nami, it's kind of Garen Yumi. Once you've seen it once, you've seen it. And it's... You gotta hit the bubbles to make it work. Come on, let's...
Oh,
you know...
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Lucian Nami, it's a comp that I do enjoy because, you know, Lucian's kind of cool. He's my most played champion, so I'm a bit biased. A little bit biased.
So I'm just having a look at what I believe is Bexhill's top laner. And none of these champions make sense. 1 minute he's playing Garen, the next minute he's playing Tristana, the next minute, you know, he's playing Warwick. Like, what?
For the record, all of these are viable top laners.
Yeah. You know what? I hate laning against Warwick probably more than most champions in the game.
Warwick's horrendous to lane into.
Yeah.
He just
really
sustains off his passive. It's impossible to outpush.
I love seeing these diverse picks because it means that we're going to go into this game and we're not going to have a clue what's going on. I mean, one of their players, Ezreal, Camille, Vigar, Silas, what lane? Like that.
Where are you
I'll
going?
tell you what lane. There's a single lane, and it's the Howling Abyss. That's what that tells me right
No,
there.
they are normal ranked games.
Right.
They are normal ranked games. I love it.
Yeah, I genuinely, I don't think the individual rank of these players is going to matter too much when you have things on the team that can have such massive implications as well. You only need one of these champions to pop off. If Viego does get drafted as well, he can be a really scary champion in a team fight. You get. Just bear in mind, right? Let's say that the best player, the carry as well, on side of Bexhill, gets really far into the game. We see like a 10-0 Varus like we've seen last game, right? But then that Varus dies and Viego becomes Varus. You also take the items as well. Now I'm the carry. You know what I mean?
I mean, I actually feel kind of bad. I think I've accidentally upset some people in chat with my take on Lucian Nami, and you know, I would like to apologise to chat. It's just a pick that I've seen too many times that kind of got boring after a while. I'm really, really sorry. It's just not a pick for me. I liked my Caitlyn Lux spot lanes. Okay,
Sorry, you have an issue with Lucian Nami, but you like
Caitlyn
the
Lux.
safe poke lane where the
Okay.
Caitlyn doesn't do anything to 3 items.
Caitlyn is the only champion I can competently play. Anytime somebody picks Caitlyn, I'm instantly involved. Okay, like Caitlyn Lux is the safe pick. It's the good pick, and quite honestly, we saw the Lux in the last game. The Lux in the last game, actually, you know, she wasn't. Yeah, she was a really, really good pick. And
you had Lux Varus anyway, right? That's budget Caitlyn. Like,
yeah.
If he's running lethality, their Qs do about the same amount of damage.
Personally, I want to see more of the Tristana Yuumi, and I'm not a big fan of Yuumi, but seeing those aggressive style bot lanes where they do want to get ahead early, I'd like to see more of that and see the fighting. And Lucian, unfortunately, does fall into that category of aggressive early bot laners as well. But Draven is a champion we could see picked up. That is in the wheelhouse.
Unfortunately, Jhin has kind of been left by the wayside over the last year, so we're not likely to see him. Maybe if teams are desperate for utility, but at that point you just really pick Ashe in the current meta.
We have seen a lot of Ashheimer. I actually wouldn't be opposed to seeing any more Ashheimer. However, we do know that one of these support players, I believe it's for Bexhill, is newer, and I don't really see a Heimer being pulled out from a newer player, if I'm honest.
I don't want to see a Heimer pulled out. I'm against this whole, I'm going to pick Heimerdinger so you're aggressive bot can't play aggressive. No, pick a more aggressive bot lane. They pick Tristana Yuumi, go Draven Pike. Throw it back at them.
Yeah.
Pike isn't a bad choice.
Well,
okay?
you say that. I've seen Draven Pike happen. It was in the Student Champs Div 1 finals, and it fell on its face.
Yeah.
So, I'd love to see it, but it might not be successful.
However, there is one AC that we've forgotten about that's still ever so slightly viable, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. And I'm already getting hate in the chat for my Lucian Nami pick, so I probably shouldn't say anymore. Sivir.
Oh.
Sorry, did you say aggressive?
Yeah.
No, I didn't say aggressive.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I said,
because
no.
I hit aggressive. I was saying, Samira.
Yeah.
No, I definitely didn't. I'm pretty sure I didn't say aggressive. I'm starting to stumble over my words now. The pressure's starting to get to me.
Yeah.
But no, a viable one.
Yeah.
Well, Sivir became a lot better and more rounded as a champion after her buffs about 5 patches ago. The Q mana cost went down so she could clear waves earlier, and her spell shield actually gives health. which means she can trade for a more elongated time, which both of those she quite likes.
Yeah, one thing you've got to be scared of, though, Lucian Nami is rather prevalent, and Sivir has a terrible time against Lucian. She always has. You can't really spell shield the Lucian Q. The timing is almost impossible to get right, and obviously most of his damage comes from the passive anyway with the auto. So if we do see Lucian, I don't think you'll get your wish in Sivir, unfortunately. But if they ban the Lucian, maybe we will. Maybe we will.
Well, don't forget, Major still exists. Ziggs got a buff this patch.
Yeah.
The wave clear is better.
Yeah.
I see a lot of Ziggs picked as bot laners in competitive play these days, so that Yone can be picked up in the mid lane. So it could be possible.
I mean, anything is possible at this point. It is probably worth pointing out as well the reason that us three are still on your screens, because we are having a few technical issues with one of the Bexhill players, I believe it is. The tech team are working behind the scenes as quickly as they can to try and get this resolved. Unfortunately, until then, you are stuck with me and my bad choices, and these two trying to tell me why they are bad choices. So, yeah.
Speaking of bad choices, right, I need your two opinions on this, because as a Blitzcrank main, I have a lot of opinions.
Yeah.
But I need to know what you think of the Blitz jungle. It seems like Riot forced it really hard, and then backpedaled quite a lot. So what are you thinking? What's your thought process behind that pick?
I would actually like to see a meta where we have Thresh, Nautilus, and Blitzcrank on one team.
No, I would not.
7.
I don't know what roles you guys play, but I'm an AD carry, and I do not want that. I do not want that. Let's not have Nautilus, Thresh, Blitzcrank all chasing me down the line.
Hook Central! I am here for Hook Central.
No. But Sivir would be super prominent there, because obviously a Rolt would make her run away, and she got the spell shield for the hook, so yeah, maybe that would give you more Sivir, but in Blitz jungle, I'm not a fan of it. I think they need to keep backpedaling, keep him in the bot lane. I don't typically like forcing champions into one specific role, but yeah, I don't like the idea of Blitz moving about the map.
Okay, so somebody in chat has just brought up a very interesting combination of Zyra Discuss.
Oh god.
Which one's farming?
Probably the Heim. It's gotta be the Heimer, right? Because
I don't know. Can the person who wrote that chat say which one is the farming?
Wait, no, neither's farming. They're going back to the double support bot lane that we used to have with the likes of Sona Seraphine, and they'll both take spell thieves.
That did get obliterated. That
okay.
Yeah, but
it might rise from the grave.
They have said Heimer farms minions, Zyra farms champions.
I mean, it does work with the ulted Heimer grenade. It's a very easy setup for Zyra to get a good E into Stranglethorns off.
Yeah.
So it would be a very viable strategy. And I've seen weirder in the bot lane that have worked.
So, oh no, I'm just going to let you make this last point because we've been told picks and bans already. So let's get in, let's get that opinion in, and let's get rolling into.
Yeah, I think enough speculation. I don't think we will see Zyra Heimerdinger, but maybe I do want to see the Draven. If you have to pick a team, I'm going to go for the underdogs this time. I'm going to go for Farnborough. I like the idea of the champions they play, and I think.
Rory, what about you?
I'm on the Bexhill train.
Okay.
For this game, but seeing how fast I jumped ship last game, all of that really means nothing for me within the next 3 minutes.
So let's send it over to picks and bans, and I will see you guys afterwards.
See you soon. Okay, we're just going to catch up here. We see Darius Aatrox banned by the Bills. Again, I rate that two really strong top laners right now. And unfortunately, the Draven got sniped away, which I am a fan of.
Yeah, the Draven and the Vayne, both solo carry picks right here, being taken away. The Caitlyn being hovered. Bit surprising that you would ban these low-range champions if you were thinking of picking the Caitlyn.
Yeah, I actually like Caitlyn into both Draven and Vayne. I think they're just snipes more than anything. Same as the Akali there. Just sniping away the more played champions. But yeah, if you're going to pick the Caitlyn anyway, then yeah, we'll just see that. That's interesting to me.
Maybe Bexhill are just not confident playing into Vayne, and Draven, and Akali. They have too high damage.
Yeah.
Worried that just give a lot of shutdowns to one character.
Yuumi. Now, see, when I see Caitlyn, I don't like Yuumi. Again, typically, I know Yuumi is kind of a jump around, heal kind of people kind of champ. and you're not going to get much poking off with the Q. If you are a Yuumi player, you like to hop off the champ, get an auto win, hop back on. You don't want to do that against Caitlyn because she will punish you for it. So I would have preferred maybe a more defensive spot like Braum if you were going to go down that line, or even Alistair. But Viego picked up. That is one of the champions that you mentioned we might see.
Yeah, Viego picked up very safe blind jungler in the current meta. Can really do everything as long as you understand what lane you're going to prioritize. We're seeing Bexhill possibly prioritizing their jungle pick here as well as an answer. Hecarim being picked up. Also, a solo queue menace right now, but I've seen a new build where you go Umbral, Manamune, Duskblade. It sounds insane, but it has a 56% win rate right now.
That sounds terrifying.
It's mental.
That sounds terrifying. We're going to see Echo picked up as well. So, plenty of go in coming out of Bexhill. Plenty of go in. And what do you do on the other side of Dawn, of course? You say, you want to go in? Let's do it.
Yeah, well, actually, F6, I was just about to say, they have a ton of disengage.
Yeah.
The Ornn plus the Yuumi, Echo will just get immediately knocked up, rooted. It's going to be really hard for Bexhill to disengage. They have to get the perfect commit off, or they're just going to lose all their cooldowns and then get swallowed up.
Yeah, we're going to see some mid lane bans coming through now. Vladimir being the focus, and we might see some more top lane focus bans. We've already seen 3. Might see a 4th out of F6. And I don't know what we're going to see out to the bot lane, though. They're leaving this ADC pick till really late in the game. And I'm curious what we're going to see. Maybe an Ezreal to sit behind this countering.
Well, this might sound crazy, but one of the answers to Caitlyn is Comet Misfortune. Yuumi Misfortune isn't the worst, but MF did also get some AP buffs to her E. Now, I know that sounds stupid. Rory, what are you on about AP Misfortune? You don't actually build AP. You just use your adapted force and your runes early to get a few extra ticks of damage. And
Tristana
Yuumi.
I do like this. I said I wanted to see Tristana Yuumi again. I wanted to see it played aggressively. I wanted to see it go in. And sure, Caitlyn can get away with that. We don't know what support we're going to see right now, and that could force you into a defensive support instead. Instead of seeing like a squishy damage made to the bot lane, because if you do, you're at risk. And if Viego's come down into that mix as well, sure, the Caitlyn might live, but we've got someone that we can target there, and the Volibear is not it. Volibear's going to... Oh my god, Volibear support.
It's Volibear support. Actually, wait. The moment Tristana comes in, Volley gets a free stun.
Yeah.
Into trap. So I see some of the logic behind it. I don't know if it's great. So we see the Mundo being picked up into top lane. I think top lane is just going to be a bit of a noodle battle, to be honest.
I mean...
And a Syndra to round out the comp. I love Syndra here.
Wait, is it going to be Mundo support? And Volibear top? We do see Volley going on top in Mundo support?
Okay.
Again, it does still stop the threat of the Tristana roll in, but...
Does it?
I mean, yeah, because Caitlyn, she can use the E to jump back really quickly, the net. Obviously, Mundo's just a big health tank anyway. What you've got to worry about, though, for Bexhill Warriors here, is if that Viego gets online, I don't see how they stop him. He's got such a big front line. Sure, Tristana might fall behind, but you switch the Yuumi over to the Viego instead. We've got all the CC in the world coming out of Syndra or Yuumi as well. Viego's got his own form of CC, and if he starts jumping around this team fights with a Blade of the Rune King as well, which is quite common in the Viego build, if
it's his sword.
Then
it is. No, it is.
Then I think, like I said in the pre-game draft, I'm excited. We got 3 things that I wanted. We got Tristana Yuumi, and we got Viego. What more can I ask for?
We have the Caitlyn.
Yeah,
Ellie's over the moon right now.
I am over the moon. However, so you were a little bit confused about the Mundo.
Yeah.
However, Mundo has been played once in support. It was played in the LCS in June by Ole. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And he stomped the game as a support. When
was this?
It was during the beginning of Summer Split. It was TSM versus Golden Guardians, and the Mundo actually ended up with a perfect KDA. So
Wow.
I am actually really, really excited to see this. This is you got to think about the fact that Mundo could just completely immobilize. We have got a tank support here, and you know, with Bexhill being on paper the stronger team, really, really excited to see whether they can make this a really, really good pick. I mean, overall, I really like the team comp. I do prefer the Bexhill team comp. I like Ornn, but
what about you, Rory? Are you jumping ship like last Champ Select?
Yeah. The thing is, I've actually really liked how F6 have rounded out their comp.
Yeah.
I love the Syndra pickup, because Syndra at the moment is only good if you're the sole AP threat on your team, because it means you don't have to deter your build to go into a Void Staff.
Yeah.
And if you can go straight for that damage earlier, it's so much better for the champion. And one good ult into Scatter the Weak can win you this team fight.
Yeah, and I think F6's comp is a little bit harder to play. But if they've been told right on how to play this comp and they discussed it, which I assume they have, I'm going in with an optimistic approach here. I think as far as mid to late game goes, they do have the stronger composition. They have the disengage, they have re-engage options as well. What they need to do, for me, they need to let those first 2 dragons go. Don't compete for the dragons. Maybe try stick a Rift Herald if you know the enemy's going for dragons. If you know Bexhill are focusing around the dragon play, try get yourself a Rift Herald. Let your Viego farm. Let your Tristana farm. If you can get to about 20-25 minutes in without too much issue, your Ornn's going to be upgrading people's items soon. And things are going to get a bit spicy. I do like F6's comp a bit more. Just a bit more.
Yeah.
If there is one thing that I'm really enjoying, hopefully they do use them. I mean, yeah, somebody in chat did say we've got 2 smites this game. We have got so many ignites. Everybody is going to be on fire. It's going to be so much fun.
So the team, sorry, you glossed over that 2 smites.
Yeah.
As in one on each team?
One on
Yes.
each. Yeah. One on
Yeah.
each.
Okay,
Yes,
right.
teams, both teams actually have smite this time.
Good.
So we are being informed that we are pretty much getting ready to go into games. So, Rory, are you jumping ship or are you kind of staying on board? What's the angle here?
You know what? I know Twitch chat won't be too happy with me, but I'm staying with the Bexhill Warriors.
That's
Okay.
You know, what am I if I keep jumping ship every opportunity I see a draft? I'm sticking with this. I'm hoping that they use their volley ult to dive every moment it's up. I want this Ornn to be 0-4 by the end of lane phase from all the pressure. Send it.
Yeah, let's send it. Let's see if this game is as spicy as the last one.
Yeah. I'm F6 all the way.
Oh, hello, it's just us.
It's just us now.
Goodbye, Ellie.
Goodbye, Ellie. And off into the distance she goes. Know that we'll have Ellie back after the game to talk through the shenanigans that are about to unfold. But yeah, I'm staying with F6. We're having a bit of a tech issue with the game loading right now, and then we'll be hopping in. But yeah, I'm going to stay with F6. I think if they survive the early pressure, then I do prefer them in the late game. And I've already made you eat your words once in jump ship. Maybe it'll happen twice. Who knows, Rory?
Did you make me do that? Or did the quadruple AP comp force my hand there?
Well, yeah, maybe.
As we have a bit of time to chat, I want to quickly go over the recent Syndra changes.
Yeah,
or
anyone
passive,
right?
who hasn't read them yet. So originally, Syndra's passive Transcendence, no one even realized there was a passive. It was so unnoticeable and came online so late into the game, it was basically meaningless. Now she has a much more exciting passive where you collect splinters. How do you collect them? You hit a enemy champion with 2 spells within 5 seconds, you kill cannons, and you level up. At each benchmark at 40, 60, 80, 100, your abilities get upgraded. The important ones to note on this are at 40 splinters, your Q, you now store 2 of them, which means wave clear and also set up for stuns is a lot easier. And at 100 splinters, your R executes anyone below 15% HP, which is so great Shield bow is no longer a problem.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about any slippery AD carries. You just one-shot them. It's beautiful.
I actually like this change as well because there's certain champions who, let's be quite honest, have fallen by the wayside over the last couple of years. Not because of the lack of damage or anything like that, but just because mobility is the key to the game. You can see that by both team construct today as well, and new champions, even Sante, coming out with a lot of mobility options. And rather than just adding in more mobility and keeping that kind of disengage style for Syndra instead, say, well, actually, instead of the mobility, you can just kill whoever turns up. How about that for an answer? I mean, death is the best form of crowd control, I believe.
It is, definitely. Only issue is, Syndra, because of these buffs to her passive, her early game is now a little weaker. Her Q costs a bit more, does a little less damage. But that's fine. As long as you don't die to this assassin in the Echo, you should be fine. You should scale fine.
Yeah, and as far as assassins go, Echo was one of the more prevalent mid laners that I used to play with. And yeah, he's an assassin by right, but definitely more of a roaming assassin in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
He's not going to get those mid lane solo picks as often as maybe an Akali would or a Katarina. At least until he's got his mythic in and maybe in that rocket belt and is able to go in and then hop back out with the ultimate time warp something.
Z-Drive Resonance, no, that's his passive. I'll remember Chrono Break, it's Chrono Break.
Chrono Break, that's what the replay thing's named after.
Yes, it is.
God, I should know that one.
I mean, to be honest, Legends of Runeterra helped me out on that knowledge.
Yeah. I'm still stuck with the old Airgot ult of the hyperkinetic placement
reverser. That was a mess of a name.
I can't get rid of it, it's the only one I remember.
So, if you're wondering...
Mundo.
Mundo. Let's talk about the pros of Mundo support.
Yeah.
Are there any? He has a 60% slow on Cleaver, which is great. It also does current health damage, which means it bullies a champion that keeps getting topped up by Yumi.
Yeah, and he is another big tank. He's just a big health bar to have in. But the CC options that we've got for Bexhill aren't actually huge. You've got the Hecarim ultimate with a Z and the Volibear Q. Volibear's got to get to you. Hecarim can get to you, but he's going in deep with no follow-up. Because Echo's going to have to get through an on Yumi Syndra, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
I think Mundo could end up just standing there, just literally being a meat shield, getting hit in the face, which is what he normally does anyway. But Ornn can take that. Ornn is the tank of tanks, right?
Yeah, Ornn is the tankiest tank because he gets 20% bonus armor and MR just from his passive. That's free at any rank. He just gets it for fun.
Why not? Yeah, so by the time he comes up to this Mundo and you think, oh, it's 2 tanks versus 1. Yeah, but our tanks are a real tank. And he's not a support with a lower economy. He's a full tank.
Yeah, and Ornn's going to be rocking up with Sunfire, Frozen Heart, Stoneplate. Mundo's going to have the support item and maybe a locket.
Yeah, and he's not really going to compare unless we do see a snowball in that top lane. Like you did say so much you wanted. You want to see this Ornn go 0-4.
I do, yeah. It's because Echo's a roaming assassin, right?
Yeah.
If you've got this dive potential of a Hecarim, the roaming potential of an Echo, and you can turn off a tower, it's a no-brainer where you're going to go.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be bot lane anyway, in fairness, because you've got a Caitlyn Mundo down there. That's not a kill lane. Yeah. It's not a die lane either. That should be a pretty stagnant lane for them where not too much happens.
And let's face it, Tristana Yumi has never struggled at disengaging. They can just buffer the jump on Tristana, and then you're out scot-free.
Yeah, I believe Ellie is ready to hop back in with us while we're waiting to get into the game here to discuss maybe Mundo a little bit more. You seem really excited about the Mundo pick, Ellie.
I was really excited for the Mundo pick because despite the fact that I said that, you know, I'm a really big fan of like the enchanters like Lux, I love a tank and I love off-meta picks, and honestly, I really want to see a little bit more of a backwards and forwards game in comparison to what we saw last game. We only went on for 19 minutes last game. I like my long games. I like my who is going to win. That is what I want from this. And I really think that, by bringing the Mundo into the mix, it's hopefully going to add some longevity to the game, and it's going to add a little bit more spice and fire to it.
what I'd like to add quickly is that I believe MLK on the Tristana is running cleanse. So it's going to be even harder to lock that champ down. It's going to be the slipperiest Yordle I've ever seen. And that's your carry right there. If all goes to plan, you just abuse your mobility.
Yeah, and when you've got Syndra pushing people back, on in the way with the pull of the Forge Guard, you've got Viego threatening to die probably from the side of the fight, and then Yuumi can hop back and forth, and Tristana's out, Yuumi's out, so it's going to be hard. I think Vexel Warriors, like I said, I'm rooting for F6. I'm rooting for F6. I'm with my guys. I've got them. I support them. I love this comp that they've got. I'm with them. But Vexel can do some early aggression, get the Sekka roam, and get the Hecarim doing some invades. Viego is still a little bit vulnerable in that early game, and Hecarim is not. And like you said, we've seen that aggressive build from him lately, that lethality building. If Hecarim gets off the ground, then everything that F6 has got to offer is well, everything I've been saying kind of falls to the wayside, because Syndra's E, you're not going to stop Hecarim, and if he's in the backline and he's 4, 5, 6 kills up, it's going to be a traumatic.
But I'll tell you what, on Saturday there was a certain event, I'm sure you'd heard of it, the World Finals that is, and so I stayed up till 5:30.
I watched it catching up.
Everyone around me had fallen asleep. It was a watch party of about 15 people. And honestly, they were all weak falling asleep at 2 a.m. And the point I'm trying to make here is I'm not flaming my mates. The point I'm trying to make is you can never really give up. Because the absolute comebacks I saw happen in that series were ridiculous. So even if you're playing into a better team fight comp, you have Mundo support who's struggling a little. You have a Viego who's possessing everyone. If you don't give up, there's always a percentage chance that you can come back and that you can win.
That's what I love about this.
Yeah, I think that's true for both team comps. Both team comps do have, I mean, again, I don't want to refer back to some of the issues we had with game one, but the team comp that we've seen for the Gutter Snipes didn't really have late game options. Whereas both of these team comps do. Echo, Volley, Mundo, late game are terrifying. Caitlyn's mid game, meh. But her late game, terrifying still. Even with an Ornn at the front, if he's getting hit in the face by a full build Caitlyn, he's vulnerable. But then, of course, you've got Viego, Tristana, the original hyper carry. I've mentioned it already on the stream today. Syndra can't stop blowing up tanks in the late game as well, especially with that new passive that you
the W is true damage.
Discussed as well, yeah. This one could be the slobber knocker that we wanted today.
So I think while we're having this discussion, it's probably worth pointing out to Twitch chat, if you're wondering why you're still seeing our for all technical issues. The tech team are still working on a solution for it. Unfortunately, the client sometimes does its own thing, and we can't control that, unfortunately. So for the foreseeable future, it is us three. I'm wondering whether production can bring up the picks and bans on the screen so that Twitch chat can still see them, because obviously they're only going off of what we're talking about. Unfortunately, they can't. However, so we'll just go over it again. So Bexhill have locked in Volibear with a flash and a teleport. They've got Hecarim with the Ghost and the Smite. You've got the Echo with the Flash and the Ignite, and the Caitlyn Mundo bot lane with Flash, Heal, Flash, Ignite. And on the Bill side, you've got Yuumi, Ornn, Viego, Tristana, and Syndra. And I'm kind of rushing through that because we've been told to send to a break. So yeah, this gives you guys some time to stretch your legs, get some hydrate, go in, and we will hopefully be back in around 5 minutes time. Thank you for being so patient. Hello, we're back. So, we've been given an update. It looks like we are going into the original game. We don't need to reset, thankfully. Our tech team has done an amazing job, and thank you so much for your patience today. At the moment, it looks like the score is 1-1. Hopefully, we'll be able to get a little bit of a recap of what happened. That's an interesting screen I've got there. I don't know about you guys.
Well,
No, it looks
I
pretty
can
normal.
just see our lovely faces.
Yeah.
I don't know what's appeared on Ellie.
Yeah, she looks confused.
I've got about
Ellie-
5 different screens on my screen at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Well,
Yeah, we've just got the normal 3-cam cast.
Okay.
So,
So yeah, I'm just going to ignore that.
yeah.
So
Let's talk about pick order a bit.
yeah.
We already pointed out this Caitlyn was a bit weird.
More how the Caitlyn came about though was a bit weird.
Yeah, banning Caitlyn's to the champions Caitlyn punishes the most. I'd say Jhin would be the third that she counters the most. It's just a bit strange to me. It felt like they were going for bans that they didn't want to play into, and then they thought of the draft.
It almost feels like they wanted to ban 3 ADCs, but instead of banning the Caitlyn, they picked it instead. That's what
Yeah.
it came across to me like.
Remove any priority pick.
I like
Yeah.
Caitlyn.
We're not saying that there's an issue with the Caitlyn pick, Ellie.
I'm just saying. I would have liked to see.
Why ban the 2 things she's good again?
I do like the awareness of Farnborough 6 in banning both the Darius and the Aatrox, because those are Ornn's 2 hardest matchups, and those are the matchups he dies solo to the most.
Yeah.
So they were already aware of what they were playing for their top side.
Yeah. And we touched on this a little bit as well, leading up into the draft, about when we seen Tristana come in versus the Caitlyn. This would have been a perfect opportunity to, if it's in the wheelhouse of Farnborough, to actually play the Sivir that was mentioned.
Yeah, definitely.
Sivir's great into Caitlyn, and again, really good at running away from what ends up being a Hecker and Volibear too. So yeah, get that team ultimate on and everybody can skirmoosh.
And speeding a Viego into the enemy team, because Viego's hardest, what he struggles with most, is actually getting on top. He has no problem damaging someone, he has no problem killing anyone.
Yeah.
It's actually managing to get on top of them that his biggest weakness is.
Yeah, and he does have the mobility with his ultimate, but then the ultimate's spent, it's gone. So you lose that burst, I think we are going to be getting in very soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully we haven't missed too much of the action. It sounds like it's been a pretty close game so far, though, from what we've heard, which is exactly what we were wanting. And I think if it is as close as what we've been told by our production, then F6 are going to be taking the lead, in my opinion, and yet we are in now.
Right.
It's 2-1.
Time for speedy recap. 2-1, but the goal lead is barely a factor right now, but a dragon has been taken. That Ocean Dragon going to be doing a lot of work in the early game just to keep the laners topped up and keep their mana bars full.
Yeah, I think we did see Rift Herald just getting picked up there as well. Not quite sure by whom.
It was by the Hecarim.
By the Hecarim. Okay,
Good old eye in the inventory, helping us out there.
So this does favour F6. Like I said, they're my pick for this series just based on the comp. If they can survive the early game and let those early objectives go, as we see a threat for a dive in the top lane. So I'll hold that point for now. A Rift is going to be placed down, but I don't think Rift will do enough damage to this tower to kill it, right?
It won't. It will only do 2 plates, but you do have the Volibear ult ready to turn off the tower if they're going to call it.
Oh, Follow the Forge God coming through. And very well played by Ornn here. Gonna nearly kill the Hecarim. Gets rid of the Shelly pretty quickly too, and they didn't commit to the dive here. I think that's a smart call.
Yeah, it makes sense when they knew Viego had based recently, so he could have been topside, hadn't been spotted by any vision. And talking about the Viego, he's coming in soon, but Ornn, with no mana, no cooldowns, actually gets spotted by the wards, so that gank will not be successful.
And the Tristana, 2 kills up is where the 2 kills that F6 have got have gone. And, of course, 20 CS up as well. And this is terrifying for Caitlyn, because as we mentioned earlier on, Caitlyn's mid-game, not great. So, falling behind in the early game can be really punishing. And I'm liking how things are looking for F6 right now.
Yeah, and that's a whole Boots 2 in advantage in this bot lane. It's actually kind of crazy. You were right. The full send of this Tristana Yuumi has been able to counteract this Caitlyn's range and been able to pick up the kills. Obviously, the jungler has been around to help out in that trade. It looks like just simply one gank turned into a double kill, actually. Hecarim lurking in the darkness. Might go for a gank here.
Yeah, and they're poking away at the Mundo, but doesn't look like they're going to overcommit on this one. Maybe aware that they haven't seen Hecarim for a while, and MLK just saying, no, I'm not your typical Tristan. I'm going to hold off. Viego nearly getting picked off in the gank in the top lane, though, so you switch over there. Volibear's low HP, but not that low as the E comes down, gives him the extra shield. Realizes he doesn't have the damage to get the job done, but failed gank coming out from F6 in the top lane.
And now that this volley has been able to withstand the 1v2, we'll be able to take this top tower. It's so down low from this Herald earlier. The Viego's back, he's lower too. This should be first tower.
Yeah, first tower, and with Dragon on the cards again coming up now. Got a reset that's coming in from Echo. Hecarim's already on the bot side of the map. He was lurking there looking for a gank himself. This Dragon becomes very vulnerable as Volley's heading back to base. No TP available for either top laner, and Dragon number 2 going into the hands of Brain.
Of the Bexel.
Thank you, of Bexel.
Yeah, and we're seeing Syndra going back to base now, but Hecarim started Dragon. Doesn't have flash. Might have to ghost out. Actually, ulting out.
This Tristana is terrifying. We do see a Sheen and an early damage items come out of Hecarim, but yeah, Tristana being so scary. Respect shown, and Dragon now going to switch over to the Hex Drake. So, what do you think we're going to see? What do you want to see for Soul? It's going to be infernal.
So, I didn't even get a chance to predict. Actually, I don't have a chance at all as the Hecarim, not Hecarim, the Viego.
Oh, and Caitlyn's going for it, though. Caitlyn Tristana's going for it. Jumps straight in, gets the bomb on. Trade 1 for 1, but Viego's here to try to pick up the pieces. MLK falls as they both get a kill apiece. Echo's here to get into the mix as well, but Viego going through the Echo. Syndra's now here as well, but will it be soon enough? The plant has already been popped. That's going to give you a bit of HP, and it's going to be a dodge of the Q and a stun coming through, but Echo will eventually fall. Syndra's here at the saving grace. Ultimate of the Chrono Break coming through for Echo, though, and is going to be able to just walk away from this one. Mundo stumbling back in, and Syndra on there is going to have to just walk away here and say, well, we're going to cut our losses with this one. That was a turn of events right there, Rory.
That was a turn of events. I loved the just arrogance of MLK jumping in there with the bomb. Wasn't able to cleanse the exhaust. Only thing that was allowing Caitlyn to trade as a bit of a duel in the top lane.
Another trade going on the top lane. The wet noodle fight that you mentioned already. The call of the Forge Guard is going to land. Good abuse of the Brittle as well. But it's a flash from both players. And Oliver having the extra move speed is going to catch up to one here. He won't land, but we'll still get the shield. Stun's going to come through, but I don't know if the damage is going to be enough. Passive is, of course, kicked off. The Chomp comes through. Last auto under the tower, and Banarex takes the solo kill in the top lane. So you might have a kill down bot, but we have kills up top, says Oliver.
Yeah, MLK was able to pick out Saljan in their own jungle. Bit aggressive from the Hecarim there, as Viego is hovering, but there's a TP bot lane.
Oh, and Volibear's just here. Ultimate will turn the tower off as well, so that can keep going. Yumiel is here though, and Volley's going to be stopped in the tracks. Caitlyn comes through on Viego. And Volibear's going to fall. It's shutdown gold as well going into this Tristana of MLK. Mundo now going to be hunted down, and we mentioned Mundo doesn't have any mobility. Going to have to flash the wall. Oh my god, MLK follows. And the bomb's going to now give a reset for the Caitlyn as well. It's going to be an attempt for a triple kill, and I don't see how Caitlyn's going to be able to maneuver around this one. Exhaust, Q, Gale Force. The Tristana gets picked off as well. Flash from Caitlyn, trying to live and get out. Yumi Q doesn't land. Viego will manage to pick that one off. But what a fantastic display from Kata's week, being able to get a kill out of this one.
Yeah, and every time MLK has jumped on Kata's week, except for the first, which we did miss, granted, but they've been able to trade. The Caitlyn is an item down, well, half an item down at the point of trading, but was able to fight back, and the Scale Force doing the burst execution. Yumi caught out.
Oh no, Yumi, you don't want to be here. And yeah, just gonna hop onto the Viego, says, don't worry, I'm here. Guy here to just pick you up from school. You're safe now. And gonna actually attempt to re-gang on this Echo. Says you just used your E and your W. I'm gonna threaten and be pushed off. Says, well, my Hecarim's up by the Rift Herald anyway. I don't mind venturing to the top side of the map.
Galecki not really in a position to steal there. Just gonna watch the Hecarim claim the Herald. Volley's moving down, but I don't think we'll be able to find anything. Right, this Mundo finally picked up Mythic in the Frostfire Gauntlet, so not going for a defensive Mythic, just stacking HP. I need to see how he's going to be useful in the fight. Actually,
Galecki actually really good flash to get towards the tower here. Ultimate is available, but not going to have time to use it. Ignite comes through, and Jacob getting the kill another successful gank from Hecarim.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. Chrono Break coming out just to avoid any tower threat, but it's great using the Onslaught of Shadows there because objectives aren't up soon, so it's basically a free ability. You don't need it for a team fight.
And on trying to stop Volibear from having free reign of the Krugs, but no threat of being killed, says Banner You don't scare me, I'm a big angry bear.
In that tone, exactly.
Yeah, in that exact tone. A bit more poke coming through, but Mundo happy to soak that up. It says Mundo goes where he pleases. And bot lane has kind of tapered off a little bit. I wonder if we're going to see
2k gold
this...
lead.
Yeah. I wonder if we're going to see this Tristana Yumi rotate and roam somewhere before this dragon comes up, or if the dragon's going to be given over.
What's insane is this Hecarim is actually 50 CS up on Kaleki, which is just massive in the jungle, and it's the current power of Hecarim being able to put so much AoE clearing on the board, even though it did die while invading.
Speaking of Hecarim and Viego, they're going to tussle as the Tribush is on the cards. Syndra's roaming down too, but it's going to be a little bit late. Hecarim goes in, Viego realizes it nice and they'll just get out using his EW and will escape to the safety of the river, but we could still see a fight. Owen is here first.
Oh,
now priority on top lane, and immediate pick up on Caitlyn. All of the force goes from through. Caitlyn will fall. Yumiel and the bomb onto Mundo as well. It's 2 kills already gone over to the side of F6. We've got Echo on the run now as well. Hecarim retreats to the tower. Volibear's made it down, so it will be a 3v5 if they want to re-engage. Of course, Cole of the Forge God is gone now as well, so they could take a think about this. Volibear does hold most of the scope of this team, but being picked off by the Kraken Slayer of Tristana, and Rocky jumping in. MLK is not scared of anything this game.
Yeah, and neither was Caddy's weak. This Kaelin Gale forcing into 3 people, unfortunately a bit overexcited, immediately gets stunned up by the Scatter of the Weak, and then it's just a cleanup after that. It was a really nice flash headbutt from Phaethon to early proc the Ornol to control and lock down CC Chain onto the Caitlyn, but overall, bit of a misstep.
Yeah, so Dragon going in favour of F6, and that will set them up for the first Infernal as they work towards the Infernal Soul. And I think Dragons are going to start playing a big part in this game. Like we said, both of these teams have late game options, and Infernal Soul, giving that extra damage first at the start of the fight, will be really helpful. And in fact, really scary for F6 if it goes the other way, because they do have a squishy target on their side.
Yeah, Echo finished his Mythic, has 2 kills. Really just kill anyone, even this Tristana. As strong as she is, she's an AD carry. She's not investing in defensive stats. So one good pick from this Echo could win the match.
Yeah, and we are going to see Shelly drop in the mid lane. The tower will fall. A couple of players from F6 are hopping around this area to try to make sure a second does in, but Hecarim threat is in with the E. No, walk away. Shelly will be stopped in charge. Where do we go from here, Rory? If you're F6 right now, losing ground, want to wait for that late game, how do you go into damage limitation mode?
So you need to just, if you're F6, you need to stick your Tristana mid lane, because look how safe she is. She has Flash, she has Cleanse, she has Rocket Jump, she has a Yumi. Right? So you're completely fine just sticking her mid. I don't think Bexhill are in any position to start a Baron. They're just not at that point yet. You're waiting for your Caitlyn to get 3rd item. So, as long as you can stack XP, as long as you can get Syndra, her splinters from her passive, if you can get the ornaments coming out, you can buy time and win just through levels alone.
Yeah, so maybe some defensive wards, let yourself concede that ground, just don't get picked on the rotates maybe. As you're going out to collect that XP.
And we're seeing Kaleki actually hovering behind MLK here. Gonna spot out the Hecarim, but it may be too late.
It may be too late, but yeah, Kaleki is here as well to cover, but I mean, MLK looking for a fight again, says, you know what? Actually, I'm just going to walk forward again. Let's see what happens. You want a tango? Let's dance.
Oh, the cleaver hitting. Not doing as much damage as I was hoping for this point in the game, to be honest. We're still to see what's the power of this support pick, aside from being a big meat wall in the team fights.
Yeah, I think the further we get into this game, the scarier that Mundo becomes. Him is having a mage in the bot lane. Obviously, the fact that you have a lower income doesn't a big threat. But both junglers in the top lane at the same time as the fight kicks off between the wet noodles. We do have Follow the Forge got it in both plays. Caitlyn ults here as well, so Ace and Hulk through onto Viego. Stun follows through onto Oliver. And Caitlyn gets picked again. Rocket jump in from Tristana. Gonna get the kill. Can they get out as well? I think there's a flash over the wall. Double kill coming through. And the fight is well and truly kicking off as Viego's in the mix as well. Triple kill over in favor of MLK. Volibear is next on the chopping block. I will hunt you down as the Mundo finally comes to effect for the opposing team. As Kalecki says, well, I'm going to go where I please for a change. 4 kills to 0. As they say, we're going to delay this game a little bit more until we're ready to fight on our terms.
And Bexel started that fight. They went hard on Fathium in the top lane on the Ornn, but too tanky to fall. And then MLK using the vision, going into that brush and just picking up the Caitlyn. No sums were even used by the Kate. She died too damn fast.
Now, I could be wrong with this as well. You may know a little bit better than I, Rory. I'm not sure on the specifics. But I think as far as range discrepancy goes, Tristana starts to match Caitlyn at level 9. And once you get to like level 11 or 12, Tristana starts to outrange the Caitlyn, I believe.
Yeah, withdraw the bead. I think it's a little later. I haven't run the maths in a long time because I haven't seen a Tristana versus Caitlyn matchup in a while. But remember, Caitlyn does have the rapid fire cannon. So she will be able to get a very big headshot that will be a longer range than Tristana even at level 18. But Trist will keep getting range, which means she's more likely to get kills in a team fight, which means she's more likely to reset and pop off. That's what we're looking for. With the Infinity Edge coming out now instead, as well even, MLK is set to just dominate these team fights.
Could see another fight about to kick off for this dragon. And we do have another PS sword being picked up for Trist as well. Do you think maybe we're actually going to see a bloodthirst there?
Yeah, that's really the only option she has now, which makes a lot of sense. She hasn't built defensive.
Tristana going to be picked here though. MLK a bit too far over. Hecarim is going to land as well. But MLK turns this one around. Says, nope, you guys want to engage on me, that's fine. Kalecki's here to help out. Volibear next on the list again. Re-engage coming through with that Viego using the Hecarim now, because obviously he was able to get the thing from there. Mundo says, I don't have any way out of this one. Another kill means another reset. And again, another reset. Flash will come through, but I don't know if it'll be enough. Yumi's going to speed up MLK as well, but no. Kada's weak is able to just limp away from this one. As again, 4 members for 0. All favoring F6 and Bex Hill. They're trying to force, and maybe they're doing it without the information that they need.
And now that Tristana has the upgraded Windfall and Sacrifice, right? The Ornn has given her an extra 1k stats in aggression off of that, as they're picking up their 3rd dragon in the background, going in. Ooh, that crit!
The bomb may not be enough, but it is. The bomb is just about enough. And we see the sadness of Caitlyn. Hecarim now trying to re-engage and get some damage out. Of course, 1,000 gold in total if you kill this Tristana. It's a big bounty to collect. But MLK says, no, I've got a cat on my back and I'll do whatever I please. So I'm going to hit all of you. Mundo, I don't think so. It's going to be next on the list. Rocket Jump may be available, but not going to use it. Bomb does the job. Legendary for MLK. Dragon was picked up on the back of this as well. So Infernal Soul Point available when it spawns for F6. So, man, that was a weird Rocket Jump. Oh, we'll judge to that one.
Using it for wave. Oh.
We've got a good E from Syndra. Going to force the corner break out of Echo to get away from this one. Volibear being nearly picked off as well. That upgraded
Kraken Slayer. Yeah.
Kraken Slayer.
Windfall and Sacrifice. You don't know your ornaments. Oh, unbelievable. As we see Kalecki starting up the Baron. This should be pretty free, as Xiaozhan is nowhere near in order to steal.
Trying to run over now. Ultimate is available as well. I think it's just about to come up. So maybe we'll see a desperation steal attempt. But Ornn says, well, I'm waiting in the wings. If you want to come through me, then be my guest. But last 2 times we've tried that, we've gone 4-0. And Baron does fall.
Yeah, and Bexel have a really big problem with disjointed.
Oh my god, Rocket Jump already again. You're not even going to get a chance to talk about it. Blue is stolen. Hecarim is forced to back away. Volibear is going to have to use the Blast Cone to escape over the wall. And F6 not quite done, maybe.
Yeah, and as I was saying before MLK just decided to Rocket Jump in and interrupt me, was Bexel are having a bit of a problem with their disjointed team fights. Right? As we saw down by the Dragon Pit, Echo and Hecarim both engaging. But the Caitlyn and Mundo are in the bot lane taking tower. they're not communicating when they're looking for fights, and that means they're just getting killed off one at a time.
Yeah, and a little over 10 minutes ago, there was a 2k gold lead actually in favor of Bexhill, but if we look at the gold lead now, it's actually 7,000 in favor of F6, who have played the mid game so far to perfection, I would say.
And it's only getting bigger as the towers start to fall. On level 15, close to level 16, going to get the upgraded ult, going to get another ornament to go onto the Syndra. What's hilarious is Athium has upgraded. I think MLK is fine, but maybe not.
MLK does just get out. Yuumi heal is really good, and the pick still comes through on Caitlyn. Volibear going to follow. Rocket Jump is available, and what we've seen from MLK so far made me believe that we could have seen more, but no, they're going to say, okay, well, we dice with that a little bit too much there. Just going to grab the wave and push it in.
Yeah, but as I was saying, Fathium decided to upgrade the Yuumi before the Syndra, or the Viego. That's how you know this is a bot lane carry situation.
Yeah, and look how quickly Tristana melts these towers as well. Sure, we've got Baron minions to help out, but they don't really matter. With the bomb, this tower's going to fall in 5-6 autos at most.
MLK is critting for 1,000. The only two players on Bexhill's team with armor are the 07 Mundo and the Volibear. MLK will just melt anyone who walks even remotely close to them.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about those players with armor, Last Whisper's already in, so a Lord Doms may be on the cards, or even a Mortal Reminder. And we do see a pick on Viego. Kaleki going to have to flash out of this one. A good attempt at punishing here from Bexhill. I do like to see that coming.
Cool, I think we hit level 11 and Mythics a while ago, but thank you, LOL Client, anyway, for the update. As Cat is Weak is still working towards that Infinity Edge, really needing 3 items before Caitlyn can even do much damage in these fights onto this Ornn, onto this Viego, who are both tankier in their own right. And I think we're looking for a soul fight very, very soon, as Dragon's up in about 50 seconds.
And at this point, if you're Bexhill, do you think we have to fight this? We're so far behind already. If we let them get Inferno, the game's over. You
don't have to throw the kitchen sink at them, you have to throw the entire kitchen. You're so far down, nearly 10k gold, you need the miracle engage from the Hecarim.
Yeah, Smite still won't be enough, although maybe their only option, depending how F6 are able to set this one up. Syndra's catching that wave in the bot right now, and we're going to see Tristana ready to catch that mid wave as well. Who do you engage on, though? It's so hard to get through this all, and Fadium has played really well after saying, you know what, I don't need farm. It's going to be a Syndra being targeted, Echo trying to get the pick, playing that assassin role.
Oh!
Of course, you're going to have to ult away.
Really nice damage. Oh, no! Oh, Juicy, unfortunately, eat before they detach to the Syndra, missing out on about 200 healing right there on your mid lane, a bit low.
Dragon's being started up, though. The fight's going to come through. Call of the Forge God not being summoned yet, and they're going to stop this around 3k HP, maybe. Get ready to burst it down. No, the steal comes in! The Hecarim steal comes in. He's going to die for his sins, but the steal will delay the game. Mundo gets picked as well. Rocket jump from Tristana, but doesn't find anybody else.
TP, mid.
Mid TP from Ornn. Going to try and cut the guys off. Call of the Forge God is still available, I believe. So yeah, he's going for the inhib right now, but he could be looking to just hold the flank. Caitlyn is here already. There's Call of the Forge God. Could be interrupted, but no, it's going to miss everybody. Good dodge by Caitlyn. Ornn able to flash away. Yuumi coming through
delivery?
with the Tristana rocket jump for the bomb delivery. And unfortunately, no further picks from F6, so they're going to try to keep pushing this one in, but very good steal for Hecarim. You want an MVP for your team so far, it's going to be Hecarim just from that steal alone. But will it be enough? Nexus Tower 1 falls, Nexus Tower 2 to follow. Rocket jump from Tristana. Is it going to go for the kill? He does, and Volibear's fallen. MLK is such a menace right now. Mundo next on the chopping block. Hecarim's the only tank left, but not really a tank. And double kill, triple kill. Gonna try kill under the fountain. It's a Chrono Break force to try and live. I'm gonna agree for the kill. And the game will go over to F6. 2 for 2 on the day for Fluffy Money. F6, what a performance, what a game. They played this mid-game to perfection. And I'm gonna let you take this one out for us, Rory, because my throw is gone.
Well, congratulations to Farnborough Sixth Form on that decisive win. I think that is the word I will use to summarize that. Absolute dominance from the Tristana, able to snowball, and this Viego and Syndra being able to back up that damage was just lovely.
Yeah, man, what a game, man. It was, like, sure, we had tech issues going into it.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, well, we missed out on action, blah, 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 blah. But actually, the first 10 minutes of the game...
Yeah, they waited for us to get killed.
Yeah, there was 3 kills. We didn't miss anything. We come back in, boom, 19 more kills. Let's go. Man, loved it. What a fantastic game. I'm so glad that we managed to get into that one just before the action started as well. And F6, they played the comp like I said they need to. Wait for the early game. Don't let Bexhill take advantage of you. And then when you're ready to fight on your terms, then you can do it.
Yeah, and I think we have a third person to give us a bit of insight onto that as we welcome back Ellie. What are you thinking about that match and the AD carry dominance in both games so far?
I'm going to stop making predictions. I'm just going to stop making predictions because, you know, I was rooting so hard for that Mundo and I was so excited for Caitlyn and I put all of my faith in Bexhill and it was, you know, Bills played such a fantastic game. It was genuinely a pleasure to actually watch that game and, you know, it was a lot more backwards and forwards and, you know, both teams, it wasn't as one-sided as the first game. Like, I know the score says differently, but it wasn't as one-sided as the first game. And
that was a mid-game snowball.
It wasn't. Yeah. Well, snowball maybe, yeah, but I think there was plenty of opportunities where Bexhill tried to punish, and F6 just happened to be in the right place. And I mean, a missed ability there, or a 10-second early gank here, and we could have done about Bexhill taking the win here. To be honest,
100%. I think this game, the games that we've had today have been thoroughly enjoyable ways. Like, game 1 was just spicy. Game 2, you know, we had a lot of technical issues, but as you said, I'm so glad that when we got into it, they waited. They didn't get too bloodthirsty before we got in there. And
apparently they were busy in the chat saying the score, so that's why they weren't focusing on ganks.
Yeah, and we did get to talk about what I said is so scary about playing Tristana in the bot lane with Yuumi, is whilst I don't typically think Yuumi is a strong champion, if you're a Tristana player, when you've got a Yuumi, you feel immortal. Yeah. And we've seen that this game from MLK. It was like, you know what? With this cat on my back, I can do whatever I want. And time after time, just going into precarious situations, shall we say.
Isn't that how every Yuumi player feels? Or every person with a Yuumi on their team? You're practically invincible. Once the cat gets locked in, that's it. You can do whatever you please. It's just unfortunate that Mundo could do whatever he pleased.
And funnily enough, Ellie earlier in messages said, oh, Yumi's going to be banned both games and Aatrox is going to have prio. Absolutely reversed. Aatrox got banned, Yuumi got picked both games. Saw success in half of them at least.
I know, I had my mindset still in the world's meta, and I was expecting, to see the Maokais and the Aatroxes, and I was expecting these teams to basically try and pull off, a T1 and DRX. But I actually really, really enjoyed the metas today, and we are just going to quickly try and wrap up in terms of, I want to hear what you guys' MVPs are, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go and raid women in esports who are still doing their Overwatch tournament. So Rory, I'm going to hit you first for your MVP, and I'm going to hit the Fluffy Bunny.
I mean, come on. Who could I say? Who could I say, except for, of course, Juicebox on the Yuumi. Sure, your AD carry might have good autos, but you have darn good heals, and honestly, the final chapters were really nice in the team fights. So we sometimes the support players get forgotten. So yeah. I just want to bring some light to that.
I don't know. I'm also going to overlook MLK here, and not because I think
oh, no.
Not that I think G-Shock has done all the work, but one of the things that enabled MLK to do all of that and position and go in and be aggressive was Fadium on this Ornn. We've seen it for the last Dragon fight as well. Whilst the carries are doing their thing, picking up all the XP, Fadium's sacrificing his own XP, his own gold. Says, I'm going to stand here, even when the Baron was happening as well. I'm going to let all of that aggression come at me. I'm going to soak it all up. I'm going to be the unsung hero. Never mind that Yuumi. I'm going to be the unsung hero of this team. I'm going to be the one tank. And for me, it's Fadium on the Ornn. The call of the Force Gods as well. They were delayed. They weren't instant. We've seen an enemy. I need to do it. He held on to them until they needed to be used. And we've seen that in the last fight as well when the team behind, which was a great call there too. So for me, Fadium.
Perfect. So
sorry, I'm okay.
we've got a top diff and we've got a support diff. That rounds out our day of games from us. As previously stated, we're going to go and check out Women in Esports who are having their Overwatch tournament. Next week, I believe, is Rocket League from us at Student Champs, which will be quite an interesting one. However, I may be incorrect. You may need to check that out. I feel like I'm about 99% correct, though. But yeah, anyway, I've been Ellie Bear. That's my point. No, that's been Rory. That's been Mr. Fluffy Bunny. And we will see you guys again soon. Have a lovely evening.